Oh, thank you, Sheena.
We're actually planning to like right now because like the number of lenders and people we have to like kind of like have initial phone calls is kind of getting too overwhelming for me. The plan right now is I'm training a girl on our team to basically be our lender relations, where she's gonna take the initial like calendar calls to have like the initial like basically appointments to kind of filter things through, and then also have touch points with our lenders, just because like it's becoming too like time consuming for me. But like we're in the process of right now training her and kind of getting her up to speed to kind of like take that position from like on our team. So definitely something to.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's that's good to hear. So I figured that you guys must have a couple people to help handle the inbound, right? Because otherwise it's just it's relentless sometimes. But I mean, I see you and Zasha, it's like, wow, that's amazing. You know, like
Basically, I drop a lot of balls, and like I'm terrible at follow up. So a lot of people are like, people are slipping through the cracks. I'm terrible, like a terrible system we have right now, but just there's just too many leaks. But then I just don't have the bandwidth to handle it all. So that's why we're trying to like build their systems and bring on this new girl to kind of help with like that whole process. So that's the
yeah.
plan.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, man. Well, welcome everybody. We officially started already, but to another Friday call. Kikoa might be jumping on soon. Thanks for the update. I think Sheena sent me. He's having RV troubles right now. So but he'll try to jump on. We're kind of thinking about switching up the format of this call, and it's just brainstorming. Because I actually found that I really like the intimacy of a call like this. So how do we keep it like an intimate call, but like have it focused based on issues or topics that are current events, relevant, or even information, and have it a little bit more efficient and structured, you know? Maybe like Coffee Talk 2.0 or something, because initially this call was just born out of like everybody's in lockdown, you know, and everybody has question marks over their head. We didn't know what's going on. People hoarding toilet paper. You guys remember those days? That wasn't too long ago, actually. But like this call was kind of just born out of that. There was no direction, no anything, no agenda, nothing, right? And it's been great, but we also want to have intention about it, you know, and have some structure, right? And it's become more and more, I think, that way that it's necessary, because like if I'd like a participation in an intimate group, you know. So anyways, just throwing that out there that we might see some changes, and any feedback or anything that you guys want to go over, you know, like or structure that you think would work best, let us know, you know. We want to kind of just keep something regular that we can hang out and do deals, maybe some on a different platform too. So please let us know if you guys have ideas. But let's jump to Lee's Needs Good Deeds. Anybody have anything? Feel free to unmute. What's up, Kurt? Sorry I missed you, dude. How's everything going?
Oh, no worries. I know you're busy, man. I just want to know, how do you keep your hair like that, man? I have a hard time.
That's so funny.
My hair is still.
Oh, Sheena. See, I told you,
know,
Sheena.
How do you do that?
I was having a really frustrating hair day today. So normally I wear my hat, but Sheena told me don't wear it. Just go with it. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Real quickly, I have a multi-family home. If you guys interested, if you don't mind me sharing, I can show you. I can tell you where it is if you guys are interested.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen. Okay, you guys see it?
Yep.
So this is the agent here. He's not on the call, but I just wanted to show. I just got off the phone with him. This is a multifamily. If you want to look up the MLS number, that's the MLS number. This is on High Central, so you can go on there anytime. It is multifamily. But here's the description. He did get an offer, low ball, but cash. So he's getting cash offers. So if you guys want to call him, his name is Jimmy, super nice guy. Just give him a call, mention my name, see if you guys want to see the property or not, but it is a multifamily. So I know you guys are looking for multifamily. Is that always, Corey?
Well, you know what? Actually, it is multi-family, but it's also single family because it looks like there's only 4 units.
It is, yeah, here it is. Property, multifamily, studio,
Yeah, 4
2-bedroom, yeah, 4 units.
So technically,
here's the-
you could classify that as single family.
Oh,
So if
single family, yeah,
somebody could
yeah,
actually buy it with a fix and flip single family
yeah,
loan, most likely.
yeah. Good
And
fixer up
then,
for you guys.
renovate it, cash out refi.
Renovate, yeah.
Cash out.
And good price.
Yeah, not
on
bad
there.
actually.
Yeah, so here's the MLS number, and then just look it up. His name is Jimmy. There's his number there. Just give him a call. He did get a cash offer on there too. Thank you. And then Corey, if you don't mind, where is he? I think Steve. Where's Steve? Is Steve, are you on the call? Steve, are you on the call? He's from Utah. Oh, there he is. Steven, if you don't mind inviting him, I don't know if you have anybody from Utah. But he's an agent in
Yeah.
in that area, so he can talk about skiing, whatever. So if you,
I love the Utah market.
so
Yeah,
if you
what's
want
up, Steven?
to,
Welcome.
yeah, give him the floor a little bit. Let me introduce. But thanks, Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kurt. What's up,
Okay, go,
Steven?
Steve.
Oh, hey, I was muted. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So like tell us about Utah and stuff. Like what do you do out there? And like yeah, I don't think we have many people that come on from Utah. We have clients out there. I love that market too. What's going on out there?
Well, we've gotten a ton of snow this year, and we're still building a lot. There's a lot of construction going on here, especially multifamily, a lot of big condo projects, that sort of thing. But I'm specializing in vacation properties and resort towns, and I'm seeing a lot of deals for or good opportunities for vacation rentals and like even hotel opportunities.
Where in Utah? Like Salt Lake City?
So I'm in Salt Lake area, yeah.
And then oh, so it's around Salt Lake City area.
So I'm
Oh.
actually working all over the state. And so I've got a couple of deals, like one is in near Zion National Park.
Oh, yeah.
So the sellers on that one, actually, I was looking for a buyer for that, but the sellers have recently decided they just want to bring in a junior partner. So
Got
if
it.
anybody's interested in something like that for either 3 or 6 million.
Is it a hotel?
It is. It's 200 units, and it's basically
Are
in a
they just
resort.
looking for equity or are they looking for debt too?
Yeah, they're looking for equity.
Equity? Do they already have the primary financing in place or?
I believe they do have financing,
Yeah,
or somebody that they're going to have financing through at least.
okay. We actually have a couple clients out there that they buy hotels, but they're buying hotels here in Hawaii.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but they're from Salt Lake, Provo. So
interesting. Yeah, I'd love to connect with anyone.
might be
like
the
that
same
as
group.
well.
Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for joining us, Steve. And
Yeah, glad to be here.
honestly, like Salt Lake City's airport is my favorite to fly in so far. Like I will avoid LA as much as possible.
Oh yeah,
and
have you
Salt
been
Lake-
in the new one though?
Yeah. Oh,
Just-
which one's the new one?
It's they just finished it last year, so we have
Yes,
new
so that's the-
we have new airport.
Yeah. Oh, no wonder it's new, huh? I
Yeah,
didn't know
it's
that.
brand new.
Oh, okay. Okay. No wonder. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that airport.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for jumping on, Steve. If anybody has anything in Utah, now we know who to call. Now we got somebody out there. So, and thanks, Kurt, for inviting
Yeah, no
Steve.
problem.
And-
Steve, put your contact
appreciate
information
it.
in the chat box. Put your information on your chat box so everybody has your contact information. But thank you.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, and everybody might want to check out that deal too, or that property. I mean, I don't know, the numbers on it, but the fact that it's 4 units.
Yeah,
T actually mentioned that it's, separate meters too. That's important. That's a lot of value. So consider it, yeah, for sure. Anybody else have anything?
Well, Corey, hopefully I don't cut out because I'm right in the spot where I usually cut out for like 10, 20 seconds. But on that topic, what do you guys all use for sub-metering, like for basically, rigging sub-meter systems, right? Like for me, I've been using the Emporia, I think it's called Emporia View or something like that. It's like the little like sensor thing that I put on. The problem is that I think it only works on different, you need a breaker
Yeah.
panel, but we have one unit, I have a house in Kihei that has like, just coincidentally has a different breaker panel in each of the units, just like it happened by chance. So I use that. It's not exact, but it's much closer than just saying like, okay, 400 square feet times the, kind of RUBS method for square footage.
Yep.
Just curious if anybody else got any like solutions they've come up with.
That's a great question, actually. I wish Layla was on the call. She might know. Does anybody have anything for Greg on that? Sub-metering? I know we've used that before, and had problems. That's why I know we pivoted, but I don't know to what. Layla is the one that just handled all that.
Oh,
so.
you used the Emporia?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was the one.
Yeah, I think it's more for like multifamily stuff, so like, I mean,
Mhm.
you know how it is on Maui. I'm pretty sure it's the same on Oahu, where these, what I call the single family multifamilies or single family apartment buildings,
Yep.
where it's like, it's one unit, but legally, but it's chopped up.
Chopped
So
up,
like,
yeah.
I don't know. And anyway,
Yeah.
maybe
You
this
come
is
across
not
that
even like,
everywhere in Hawaii, right? It's like
yeah, that's
those
what I
type
figured.
of-
I just don't
Yeah.
look at enough stuff on the other islands to know. But like on Maui, I feel like it's probably half the houses here have at least one unit that's not actually an ohana or whatever, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if it's that prevalent on the other islands or what.
Yeah, that's kind of high. I don't know
But-
about that here out here. That's definitely not as, I don't think it's as prevalent out here. Does
Okay.
anybody know?
But
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead,
But
Greg.
you guys have multifamily, so like, like you got 4 units and we just saw, you got a fourplex, like that's crazy. I mean, that basically doesn't exist on Maui.
Really?
Um,
What is it? Just
yeah,
duplexes?
yeah, pretty much like, no, there's like not even duplexes, bro. It's like,
Wow.
there's like, I mean, we have, of course, we got houses with cottages, right? So like that can be considered 2 units, but that's not like duplex. The only real duplexes that I know of are like basically there's like maybe a handful of streets. There's one street out in Napili where there's like 2 little cul-de-sacs with there's probably like 30 duplexes. And then I think there's another spot where there's a few duplexes, maybe in Kihei, but yeah, I mean, generally speaking, like that, they just don't really exist.
Well, if
They're
you can name
very,
them off the
very,
top of your
very
head
rare.
like that,
From what
then
I've seen.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like right now, of course, like house with cottage is everywhere, but it's just a little bit different. I would rather have a house with a cottage, I think, but I don't really know because
Do
we
they
don't have
not
duplexes. I've never compared them.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, how's it, everyone? So is that just like a zoning thing? Is that why it's not out there, or is it just people aren't interested in investing in developing them?
As far as I know, I think it is zoning because I mean, at least for the areas where I have seen duplexes, you look at the zoning and they're zoned for duplex.
Yeah.
Or they have some special zoning, but basically I think it's actually says the name of the zoning is something like DU for duplex or something like that. And like, I don't know, I haven't really seen that anywhere else. So I think that's why. But yeah, anyways, it's interesting. I don't, yeah. Um, so that's why like my focus is really just finding houses that we can, have the ability to section off and create more units. Cause otherwise, I mean, it's either that or do vacation rentals, right?
Yeah.
If you want to
Yeah.
cash flow in Maui, that's my theory.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Well,
I've seen people doing like trying to develop like tiny home communities to try to like I
Yeah.
guess as a way to kind of just get another like sub rental. So they might have like a normal like manufactured house and then like a tiny home in the back, like in Ohana. I think they're using the Ohana law actually to do that, but then they're like the plan is to have it as two separate living spaces. Because
Have you
is
done a
there
lot
is
of
there
Joe, have you done a lot of work out there in Maui or?
not a ton, but I remember doing a project like that probably like a year and a half ago. So I don't remember all the details now, but yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering because the idea was it was supposed to help like increase the housing demand, but I'm not sure how the Maui market is right now. Is there like a pretty solid demand for more housing out in Maui?
For like building
Yeah,
No,
for new
for
housing,
or just for yeah
or you mean just like for inventory? That's like,
inventory like yeah. Is there enough
oh yeah,
housing
yeah.
for?
No, there's no inventory. I think there's like, I think there
yeah,
was
there's
like
none.
four active listings on MLS.
Wow.
What?
No, I'm
No,
yeah,
that's like,
I'm exact.
what neighborhood
Oh,
is
okay.
it?
I was like, dang.
We're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like there's nothing. I mean, I don't know if I had to guess like 20 listings in Kihei or something like that. I don't know. Like, it's probably more than that, but it's very, very minimal. I know, I mean, escrow on a house, I think we mentioned it before,
Oh
but
yeah.
I got yeah, we got actually the appraisers coming out this weekend and there's no comps. Like,
Mm.
I mean, there's just nothing to even compare it to. We're like, man, what kind of adjustments are we gonna make? Or what are they gonna make? I'm, it's not on me, but we had the same issue when we were, negotiating the price. This, seller and I were both like, Shh, I don't know, man. Here's my best guess.
Yeah.
There's just no comps. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and that's
Okay.
one thing I wondered too, because I know Maui has like a smaller population than like Oahu, but I know there's also a lot of growth and development happening in I think it's Kahului maybe, and
Wailuku,
that
Maui.
triangle. There's also that it's kind of
Oh,
near that
Maui
triangle.
Lani
I'm trying.
or Kihei.
I think it's like Ma'alaya or something like that.
Oh, you're thinking of Kihei, I think. Wailea,
Is it
Kihei.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, hold
yeah,
on.
there's a
It's
lot
like
of
an industrial
developments down
area,
there,
right?
but industrial. Oh, you're talking about commercial development.
Yeah, well, and I'm only bringing that up just in the sense of like, is there going to be an increasing growing demand for housing out there if they keep dumping money into developing the industrial parks? Because I know like right in the neck of Maui on both sides, like on the airport side and then on the polar opposite side of that, there's like two industrial parks and there's a lot of transactions happening there and plans
Mm.
for development. So I was just thinking if there's a shortage in housing now, then it might be a good idea to even more so to get more like rental properties out there because it would just mean more jobs.
Yeah. Actually, I did think of that. Yeah, there's a lot of industrial being bought up, right? So that's gonna bring, what is that gonna bring? Most likely jobs, I guess. I mean, I guess what type, it depends what's going on, right? So Joe, and
Well,
I
I
don't
see,
even.
like, I don't know. I'm not in the commercial and the industrial at all, but
Mhm.
like, and I feel like a lot of other people, just regular people, we kind of make the same comments about how, you know, they're developing these new, like, I think you're probably referring a little bit to like kind of like there's an opportunity zone in Kahului. So we've seen a lot of development happening within the opportunity zone, probably just, savvy investors taking advantage of that. And what's happening, it just, again, from my perspective, it seems like the tenants that were, on Dairy Road, for example, like Lowe's or whoever, right? Like they're moving from their place that they've been forever. They're moving over 2 blocks into the opportunity zone because the new owner there is probably giving them like, probably similar rent for a brand new building or more space, whatever the deal is, right?
Mhm.
And then the old Lowe's is just sitting there empty. And now the old car dealerships were like renting it out to park cars there and stuff like that. Like they're just they can rent them. So it seems like they're kind of building stuff because it's good investment, but like also a lot of the space is either not really being utilized or it's like taking a long time to turn over, sort of thing. I don't know. It probably just seems a little bit worse to me also because I'm in residential where things turn over in a matter of days. So in commercial where it might take 6 months to lease something out is an eternity to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's just kind of my perspective. But on that topic, like at the same time, as far as the rental market, it's definitely, it's been in very, very high demand. I've felt the pain for the applicants. It's been a really, really hard for them. I shouldn't, act like it's hard for me. It's good. It's good for me because I got a lot of
Yeah.
options. Like I feel their pain, and it's tough because like I care.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I wish I could help all these people out. Like people are like
Yeah.
desperate for housing. And I'm like, man, I only got 1 unit right now that's vacant. So there's definitely a strong demand for housing. Rents, like, most places have gone up a lot. But yeah, if that's true and there's still, there is some new stuff coming in, we got a Sonic restaurant. That was pretty exciting. We don't get a lot of stuff like that, but I don't know too much about like much, real
Commercial.
it's not, maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to talk about today too, is like, and if anybody has anything, or if they're in contract or need something, like feel free to jump in anytime, right? Or leave it in the chat. But I know a lot of people are going into multifamily now and commercial. So what is the conversation going on out there with, because there is what they're saying, referring to as a CRE bubble, right? There's a lot of notes becoming mature. So they're watching. But what is, I'm assuming that people should be starting to position themselves for opportunity. Is that the conversation that you guys are having in the groups and stuff? I know Daniel, yeah, you're in multifamily. Dante.
Yes. Yeah, there's a bunch of loans due soon, sort of, or like the interest only period is done. And so there's definitely a lot on the market. Like it's crazy how many leads we get almost every day at this point. But they're like, sellers are still a little, like their properties are not even stabilized yet. Like it's just been really challenging, I guess, between supply chain shortages and non-performing property management companies. A lot of things that I see have been mismanaged in the last, maybe 2 years or so. And but they're still trying to, sell where they are making money, and it just doesn't even pencil out. Like I just analyzed the deal. They're asking 8.3. The in-place cap is lower than the market cap. And like as is, it's only worth like 6 mil. And I spoke to a couple people to help me analyze it. And I spoke to a lender, they're like, yeah, they're not gonna sell this, that it's not gonna go for what they want. And so I'm just gonna wait before I submit my LOI to see what kind of response they receive and see what kind of motivation they have. But yeah, a lot of them are kind of like that, like really the asking price is a lot higher. It's based on the pro forma for like in 10 years. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Even with that though, even if they're trying, so they're trying to sell it based on a cap rate of the pro forma NOI, right? Is that what you're saying? So
Yeah.
even still, there should be a range for the cap rate, even if you're doing it through a pro forma. Like you can look on these investor surveys and see the low end and the high end. And if it's not actually performing right now, you still have to use a cap rate that would match that. You know, you can't just go and say, oh well, I'm going to charge, you know, the lowest cap rate that I can right now with my property that is 90% vacant, because I know it can be, if it's not
Yeah.
90% vacant, then it'll be amazing. And it's like, great,
Yeah,
yeah, it would
totally.
be, but it's
Yeah.
not right now. I still have to, I still have to account for that. So you
Yeah.
have to add on to the cap rate. So if the range is like 2 to 6, let's just say, then you can't say,
Mhm.
oh, I want a 2 cap, you know, on this. Like you're like, okay, well that's great, but I'm going to buy it at a 6. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to renovate it, and then I'm going to sell it at a 2 based on the same pro forma, you know, income.
Mhm.
So it's really frustrating when people do that. But
And
anyway,
the lenders
yeah.
have are really hard on LTVs. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, we're going through the refinance of the 13 unit that is performing already. And the lender just wants to do not a cash out refi. Like they just want to do it they don't want to do it based on the appraised value, or like the commercial appraisal came in at a high value because we have the income, and they won't take that. They want to just do what's that called, rate, and just basically refinance the current loan that we have on it, and we're not cool with that.
Yeah.
Like
it's
we
a
know that
rate
we got
term.
it. Yeah, the rate and term. I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah. A lot of it is, yeah, there's you can almost feel the nervousness. Yeah, when you're like we do when there's major uncertainty, like, and we're trying to, you know, close loans and close deals, and all of a sudden like something gets kicked back for like a reason that wouldn't have been a reason like 2 months ago, you know. So
Mhm.
then you're like, and then you start to feel the energy's not there, right? And like, so you can almost feel the tension but from the money. And in that space, yeah, I'd say I can see why they're, you know, the lenders are a little more cautious, actually a lot more cautious, because one,
Yes.
they might be one of those banks that are at risk of failure right now, you know, because there will be more. We just got
Yes.
another 25 basis point hike, right? And hopefully a lot of that's been baked into the market already, because at the end of last year, we were already being told it's going to be, I think it was going to be like 20 or 50 and then 25. And that's exactly what it was.
What's
I think that's
happening?
at
Yeah.
the beginning of the year. So
I want to say something, and I don't know, sorry, that's not on the commercial lender, but I was talking to another like regular lender broker. And I don't know if you guys do that at Keiko, but they have this newer thing in place. I never heard of it, of like specific zip codes that are high, well, which makes sense. They're higher risks, but not in the sense that like they're class D. They got so inflated, so they are the higher risk of receiving a huge like deflation in value. So even though it's like a nice area, but they predict that, so they won't land based on comps. Like instead of doing a 70, they might do 60% LTV. I just learned that yesterday, which is another, you know, sign of lenders tightening up.
yeah, exactly. And in fact, we had to do that too for certain markets, like Austin. Austin was one we had a leverage cut. That was at the beginning of the year, I believe. Another one was, I believe, Tampa. No, actually, Tampa, we didn't get cut. It was another market in Florida. So yeah, the accelerated appreciation is what I guess they're kind of calling it now, you know. And it's also too, like, some lenders, like if you're buying it, like let's say somebody wanted to, you know, that strategy, wholesaling, wholesaling where
Oh,
you're not
yes.
necessarily like wholesaling
Yeah.
it because you're not selling the contract, you're actually closing on it
Yeah,
and then
it's
putting
like a
it right on
double
the market.
close. Yes.
Yeah, you're putting it on the market to, I never liked that strategy, to be honest, because if I knew that I could just put it on the market and sell it for so much more, I would just tell the seller, because that's the right thing to do. Unless the person did tell the seller, like, hey, I don't think it'd be in your best interest to sell it to me because I need to be at this price, where I think you could make maybe another 100 grand or 50 grand if you put it on the market. I always give a soft pass when I hit that situation, because I want to sleep at night, and if I feel like they could have gotten a better price, I tell them, and many times you'll find that they'll trust you even more, for one, and two is that some of them don't want to go through the hassles of putting it on the market. They just want their problem taken care of, right? So I don't like that strategy
Or
because,
pre-foreclosure.
and then also like I've seen guys get burned trying to wholesale. They put it on the market and then they can't sell it, and then they sit. So I know a bunch of investors that got stuck with properties doing that strategy. Wholesaling. Why did I get into wholesale? Oh yeah, because people who wholesale to an investor, let's say like they want to wholesale it to an investor to buy it cash, right? For us, if the property has been bought within 12 months, then and they're trying to sell it within 12 months, then we have to go off of the original purchase price that was purchased for. Because if you think about it, it makes sense, right? Like there's no way it's been the market's appreciated that much, whatever they're trying to sell it for, in that short amount of time. And the only reason why you would wholesale something is to make a bigger fee than a wholesale fee, right? So typically they're trying to make 60, 70, maybe even 100,000 or more wholesaling it. But the problem is it makes it harder to finance on the back end. So they have to wholesale to cash buyers, right? Because if they're not going to fix it up themselves, they're trying to sell a distressed asset on market, right? So your buyer pool is going to be investors. Most investors leverage with institutional capital like us. And if you can't qualify, like they don't know this, that there's something called accelerated appreciation, which is why it's great that you brought this up, T, because if I can stop anybody from wholesaling, like and getting themselves in trouble, like, that's a win, because that's a dangerous strategy, especially in this market.
Ryan Pineda does something like that. He calls it novation, but they lock up a contract and then they list it and they promise the seller something. And as long as the seller is okay with them making whatever else is in there. But so obviously there's like a bunch of paperwork. So it's like some kind of contract to list it, essentially. But
right.
They like them as
Novation,
Ryan,
right?
yeah, he calls that novation. Pace Morby's novation is a whole different thing. Anyway, so novation for Ryan Pineda is basically they promise the seller, like the seller wants that much. And they're like, you know what, we can't do it as a cash offer, but if you allow us to list it on the MLS, we promise you this amount and you let us walk away with the rest, whatever the rest is. And as long as the seller is fine, then that, which is smart because that way there's no like double closing. The seller walks away with what they really want, right? So yeah, that's a bit of a whole, it's like a contract to list, sort of.
It's different because it's the expectations are set up front, right? And everybody's in agreement. When you wholesale, typically, like you're not talking to the seller probably, or if you're direct to seller, then you're I mean, unless you're upfront with them, you know, and you're gonna tell them, I'm gonna put it right on the market, you know, I'll buy it from you from this much and put it on the market, then that's fine, you know. But that's just one part of the problem with wholetailing. The other part is that people don't, you know, people think it's easier to offload a property than it is a distressed property. You know, it's got to be a really good deal to do that, especially in this market, you know. But yeah, that's a different strategy. I think I don't see anything wrong with that one. You know, if anything, there's a lot right with that strategy. Like you can people. To
Yeah,
me,
I
it
mean,
seems
It
like a
sounds
lot
like
of
you're also
headaches.
like partnering.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's why it
and the
sounds
whole like
like
being upfront about it. That's the other, you know, like the seller is like fine. They're not gonna deal with the headaches of listing. They're still gonna walk away with their money. And they're like, okay, fine. If you're gonna make 100K on me, that's fine. As long as I walk away with what I want, whatever the case is, you know, there's motivation clearly.
yeah,
But yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, Corey,
So
Steve, in your area, how does it work in your area in Utah? Because you do a lot of commercial. Steven, how does it work in what they're discussing? How does it work in your area?
With the sorry, I missed what we were. I was looking at something else. Were we talking about wholesaling still or wholetailing?
yeah.
Yeah,
Do people
I
do
have
that
seen
out
it
there?
happen. I have seen it happen here. Wholesaling has been really popular here. The wholetailing hasn't. I haven't seen something like that in a while, but it does happen from time to time.
Yeah, me too. You see it more when we had a strong seller's market, right? People just will buy a, you know, contract for a discount, you know, a decent discount, and then put it on the market, just clean it up, maybe put it on the market and cross their fingers, you know, and they get lucky, you know, and they get, of course, because it's a seller's market. But in these times, man, I'd kind of, you know, maybe if you're in Maui, because like they have no inventory, right, Greg? Just throw something up and someone's gonna buy it. Yeah, but yeah, be careful on that one. But it's a good point to talk about accelerated appreciation in a sense of debt. You know, when you're sourcing debt, then you might hear that term. And the reason is like, yeah, any lender, if there was a massive spike in values, we all know what, you know, that what goes up must come down, right? So especially if it's at a rapid pace. So I know Austin was one of the ones we cut our leverages, and it was right before, like, I think Austin's taking a big correction right now. So, oh, Steve, I was gonna ask you actually, for in Salt Lake, I heard, is there issues going on with the lake itself? Like it's drying up, and like the crystals, from what I heard, like the crystals are a problem for the health. It's like a health and safety hazard, or no? Is that blown out of the proportion?
Well, it's pretty blown out of proportion.
Okay.
But it is an issue. Yeah, the lake has been declining for quite a while. We've been our temperature, our average temperature here has gone up considerably more than most places, and so it's gotten a lot hotter and a lot drier here than normal. Fortunately, we did have a really wet winter this year, but it is kind of concern to some degree. Yeah.
And
Well,
what's
hasn't
it
it
like?
always been like a gross or a toxic lake, kind of?
What's that?
Joe, you cut out.
Oh, sorry. No, I was saying, hasn't it always been kind of a toxic lake to begin with? Like, it's not really it's a great salt lake, but it's not something you want to swim in ever, unless you want to walk out with a third arm or something.
You can swim in it. People don't really do that these days. They used to. But it's not really the water that's toxic. It's said to be the dust underneath. You know, once the lake bed dries up, we do get a lot of that dust from the desert that blows into the air when it gets really stormy, and so that can be a health hazard to people. So it would just be worse if the lake did dry up.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. I don't remember how I heard of that. But I was thinking, wow, that could be a big problem. Just the news alone, because the article I read was not good. So definitely got clickbaited into it. But like it didn't sound so. Just the news and the media hyping it up could move the market a little bit, right? Like people kind of lose, like they don't want to even risk the chance of having a health issue, right? So like I wonder if
I will
even the
say though,
news-
sorry, Corey.
Go ahead, Joe.
You know, I wanted to say too, because I have some friends from Utah, and they're always like taking these beautiful pictures and these different landscapes, and they go boating all the time. And I'm assuming they're not boating in that lake, but are there other like nice lakes around in Utah? Then is that where
Yeah, there
all
are a
that's
lot of
happening?
nice lakes around. Nobody here locally has ever been concerned about the lake, about the Great Salt Lake, that I've ever noticed. I mean, it's not really that big of a concern. It got into, I think it was the New York Times recently because of some, I mean, people just wanting to make something happen, right? It's political.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. They got me.
But yeah, nobody locally is really that concerned. So, and yes, there are lots of great, beautiful lakes here. Nobody goes boating on the Great Salt Lake. It's not deep enough, really. It's like a giant puddle.
It's a giant puddle. It's beautiful though. I love Salt Lake. Beautiful.
It is.
I've never stepped outside the airport, but it's beautiful, and I love it because I love the airport. Well, thanks for that, Steve. One kind of tip maybe that we'll leave on. I might have to leave a little early. I gotta head to my mom's retirement, so I'm gonna celebrate her retirement. And so maybe in about 5 minutes I gotta jump off, so I'll cut it a little early. But as we were talking about T, how you mentioned accelerated appreciation, I just was thinking, and feeling, I was like, man, I hope everybody really understood that one. I hope everybody because you will see it, especially in these times.
And it really makes sense, right? Because all of the comps from the last 2 years almost are not the normal market comps. So it makes
like Greg
sense.
said. Yeah,
I'm not
no
even
comps.
surprised anymore when lenders like question things and lower LTVs. So we're buying so low now, it's insane.
Yeah.
But I can tell you guys that the appraisals that I was getting a year ago on properties that I'm getting appraised now, huge difference. So a year ago, yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm not making that
In a
mistake
good way
again.
or a bad way?
Oh, in a
Like,
bad way.
How are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. Like in 2021, during the peak of the chaos, like appraisers were so hard to come by, and they were like, it felt like you're dealing with sharks, because all of a sudden appraisal that was like 650 before is now like 1,500. I'm like, are you guys kidding me? Like, I know, and we have to deliver that to the client, hey, it's gonna cost 1,500, and they're like, what? It's like, we don't make money off the appraisal. It's like, so times are crazy right now. But back to my point of the accelerated appreciation, that it wasn't the point. It's like I was thinking, I hope everybody kind of caught that, and the main point is for me is what we teach our guys in here is like, if you want to be the next level, you got to be different, right? If we know that's true, you got to be different, right? Then when you're in the conferences or in the meetups or even networking session or anything, like pay attention to everything, because if you come on a call and you kind of just miss a little nugget, there's a lot of little nuggets that are dropped throughout the entire call, and some may not be relevant or valuable for you, but one might, right? So, and with our guys, I always tell them, just pay attention, to the little things, be the guy to spot something that nobody else does. Even if you, like, we brought on a guy named Alexander Moore. You guys will get to know him more and more. Former, he graduated Harvard grad, D1, he ran track for them. He was the anchor on their team in track, just high performer. I'm paying attention to him. This is day 5. He started Monday. Yeah. And he's got 6 deals in the pipe already. Why? Like I'm thinking, why? How come it takes long for others, but for him it's just boom, and I'm paying attention to how he talks on the phone and how he's, tackling this. And what I learned is he has no fear. He just attacks. Like he came in Monday, he was already on the phone and like just talking, of course, making mistakes here and there and stuff like that. But come Friday, 5 days in, like he's ready to go. He's got deals in, right? So I'm paying attention because I know that we got Joe coming from Tampa too soon. And I want Joe to hit the ground running fast too. And we got Diedrich coming from Vegas soon too. And I want him to hit the ground running fast. So like just pay attention to and try to find those golden nuggets that everyone else is just letting go. That was it. That was the one thing I was thinking, like, oh, I gotta say this, because I hope everybody caught that point. But more importantly, it's like, think about all the other little nuggets that are floating around out there when you're out in, networking and in these conferences, like there's a lot of gold everywhere. You just gotta pay attention to, and it might be just a quick one word, boom, but could change everything, right? So anyways, thank you guys again. And thank you, Jim and Loretta, for your suggestion. I got it. Let's definitely link up. And if anybody else has any suggestions, like this is our call, like I want it to be like today, everybody chip in, let's conversate, so before we head off, anybody have anything last final words? All right, well, I hope everybody has a great weekend.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Don't get too crazy now.
Happy
We got
Boys
dreams
Day.
to reach. I'm kidding.
Happy
That's right,
Boys
guys.
Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey,
We'll guys next week.
Corey, we'll talk offline. I have some topics, might be interest to the group. I'll email you. Okay.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kurt.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.